A true mother doesn't celebrate while her children are missing. Atiku last First Lady Remi Tinubu over abducted school children. Yes, so if you are a good mother, one of your child is missing. What are you celebrating? You are sharing cars. Sharing cars. I even saw Prime Minister Dele too was blasting her, saying she's from Delta State. That's why she doesn't care like that. Like, you cannot even pretend that, okay, let me just come and ask Jama, you get, just pretend like you care. But that woman, no more, she's heartless, so she's very, very heartless. Former Vice President Atiku'S and presidential candidate of the Nigerian Democratic Congress, NDC, Peter Obi, have lambasted President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and First Lady Remi Tinubu, accusing the administration of displaying shocking insensitivity while abducted school children and their teachers in Oyo State remains in captivity. Atiku, the presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress (ADC) in the 2027 election, in a statement issued on Friday by a senior special assistant on public communications, Frank Shaibu, said it was disturbing, yes, very disturbing, that nearly 3 weeks after the pupils and teachers were kidnapped on May 15, 2026, the Nigerian government has failed to secure their release. I'm telling you, has failed to secure their release, while public officials continue to engage in political activities and celebration. Even after that very day, did they not continue their primary election? They continue now. That's to show you that they don't care. According to the former vice president, the government's conduct has projected an atmosphere of indifference to the suffering of families whose children and relatives are being held by kidnappers. At a time when parents are living through unimaginable anguish, the government appears more preoccupied with political engagement than with bringing those children home, Atiku said. According to him, leadership goes beyond occupying public office and must be measured by the level of empathy shown during periods of national distress. Atiku particularly criticized the First Lady, noting that many of the activities that have attracted public condemnation were personally associated with her. Yes. Okay, even if you're not going to talk, okay now, stay quiet now, stay in peace. Sharing car, doing women meeting and all of that, sharing cars for people and saying that you need your women to be this and that. So you are giving them personal cars. What did they do to deserve personal cars? Referring to the popular refrain often used by supporters to describe Remi Tinubu as the mother of the nation. She's not a mother, Kokon. Article question what kind of mother would continue with celebration and political engagement while our children remained in captivity. I wonder. A true mother does not celebrate while our children are missing, he said. A true mother does not preside over political festivities while families are trapped in agony, praying daily for the safe return of their loved ones. A true mother would use every platform available to keep the plight of those children at the forefront of the national consciousness until they are safely returned, reunited with their families. Atiku said many Nigerians has been confronted with images of political gatherings, campaign-style events, and the distribution of vehicles to political associates at a time when families abducted victims continue to endure sleepless nights. He described the contrast between the suffering of the affected families and the activities of government officials as painful and deeply disturbing. Atiku also criticized what he termed the extravagant display of power and influence, including heavily publicized convoys and political engagements, despite worsening insecurity and economic hardship across the country. According to him, symbolism matters in governance, especially during moments of national tragedy. When children are missing, the nation expects urgency. When teachers are abducted, the nation expects compassion, he said. What Nigerians do not expect is political pageantry. They do not expect campaign songs. They do not expect celebrations. They certainly do not expect luxury gifts being handed out to political loyalists while families are living through one of the darkest moments of their lives, Atiku added. The former vice president further lamented what he described as the normalization of mass kidnapping under the current administration. Yes, it has become so normal, very, very normal, warning that such a lack of urgency in responding to such incidents could embolden criminal groups. They are already emboldened now. They don't fear anybody now. And deepen public despair. Yes, he called on the Nigerian government to deploy all available security and intelligence resources to secure the immediate release of the abducted pupils and teachers and ensure that those responsible are apprehended and prosecuted. Atiku maintained that history would judge leaders not by political meetings, support groups, or gifts distributed by loyalists, but by how they responded when innocent citizens were in danger. At a time like this, Nigerians do not need political choreography, they need leadership. They do not need celebrations, he said. They need results. They do not need propaganda. They need the safe return of every abducted child and teacher. Until that happens, every display of political merriment is a painful reminder of a government that appears increasingly disconnected from the suffering of its own people, he added. Also, former Anambra State Governor and 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi expressed concern over what he described as the country's increasing tolerance of insecurity and recurring school kidnappings. In a statement issued on Friday, Obi compared the current wave of abductions with the global reactions that followed the 2014 kidnapping of schoolgirls in Chibok, Borno State. Yes, what has happened since then should trouble every Nigerian. Under President Buhari's 8 years in office, Nigeria has witnessed about 10 school abductions. Despite these repeated tragedies, there has neither been sustained national outrage nor significant international attention comparable to what followed Chibok. This raises an important question. Have we become so accustomed to insecurity that what once shocked our national conscience is now treated as normal? Obi further accused political leaders of focusing on electoral calculations rather than addressing the country's pressing challenges. According to him, it is therefore no surprise that some observers have labelled us now disgraced nation. While we do not agree with any attempt to define our great country by its present difficulties, we must acknowledge that persistent insecurity, economic hardship, and leadership failure has damaged our reputation and standing among nations. On May 27, several reporters reported that several Nigerians on social media platform X lambasted the First Lady, accusing her of insensitivity for celebrating Children's Day without acknowledging children currently held captive by kidnappers across the country, particularly the ones recently kidnapped from Oyo State and Borno schools. The angry reactions followed the Children's Day message released by the First Lady on May 27, 2026, where she extended goodwill messages to Nigerian children and urged them to focus on building a better future. She inside the bush. It's inside the bush that they will secure a better future. That woman, very heartless, I beg. Very, very. She doesn't even care about anybody. Like, just pretend like you care. Even though we know that, even when you come outside, you know that it's not like you care like that. You just came outside, said that people will not, but still do that. Rather than just acting so nonchalant, like you don't care about anybody, or you don't care about any children buying. You are the First Lady of Nigeria. Later they'll be singing our mama be this, or we don't get another one. Which kind of mama be that? My listeners, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Thank you for listening. See you some other time. Bye.